everyone, this is Canny Couple. I'm Julia, Aaron's behind the camera this morning, and today I want to show you how to make some really good instant cheap pancake mix for you and your family in your pantry. But before we get started, please hit the like button and we would really appreciate it if you subscribe. So I don't know if pancakes are a big thing in your household, but about once a week, once every 2 weeks, we do have pancakes, and I like an easy pancake mix. And when Aaron and I first got together, I was buying pancake mix and I was buying instant. I don't know if you all have seen the prices. They're starting to get more and more expensive. If you're lucky, you can get a box on sale, and that box might last you 3 to 4 weeks if you eat pancakes on a regular basis. If you eat them more than that, it's not going to last you any time at all. So I started looking and I developed my own recipe for instant pancake mix, and it has worked out really well for us, and we've been using this, how long would you say?
It's been years now.
Years. Same pancake recipe. We have the few things that we have tried to change, I've always went back because it hasn't tasted right. So here's my basic recipe. So just the ingredients you can see here. It's very simple. And now we're going to start putting it together. So I would suggest you have a decent sized container to store this in, because it's going to make a lot. You're not going to use this all at once. You're going to make it, and for us this lasts us what, 6 weeks?
At least, yes.
At least. This is probably triple what you would get out of a box in the store. And the total cost, I'll tell you at the end, for the entire batch. So this is 8 cups of flour. Not shifted, nothing. Now I'm using bread flour this time because it's what I have, but you want to make sure you're not using a self-rising flour. You're just using a plain all-purpose flour. If you have bread flour, you can use that too. It works just fine. I've done it many times with bread flour. Because we have a bread machine, and because we have the bread machine, we've always had bread flour on hand because it does tend to work a little bit better with the bread machine. And now we're going to use the cane sugar, and we like organic cane sugar, and you're only going to do 3/4 of a cup. Let me make sure. I always have to go back and check the recipe.
Because we don't have to make it that often.
We don't have to make it that often. It used to be taped. It used to be taped to the top of this. Okay, so it's 3/4 a cup of sugar. Now if you like your sweeter, you can go up, you can go down. I have found 3/4 of a cup for this entire batch really works well for us. The next thing you need is instant milk. Now, I have used non-instant milk, and it does work, but it does not taste as good. It doesn't cook as well. I feel like it doesn't do what I really need it to do. And I'm going to do 1.5 cups, yeah. So. And I will say that the instant does fluff up a little bit better, and we were completely out. Normally I don't get it from the grocery store, but we were completely out for pancake mix, so I had to have Aaron pick some up. And you need a pinch of salt. And I'm using Redmond's, just a little bit in there, and the baking powder. And this we did get from Azure Standard. And if you do not have any of these little magnetic nesty spoons, Aaron got me these for my birthday probably a year ago or something. I gotta say, I love these things. They're the 2-sided, and they're just absolutely wonderful. So you're gonna do 4 good sized tablespoons here. You can't taste it, it just makes sure they're nice and fluffy. And I will say, if you can make this ahead, your pancakes will be so much better. They always taste better after this is sat for a bit. It just like all the ingredients sort of meld together. Now I'm just going to take my whisk and just start giving it a really quick stir. You can tell all it is just basic pancake mix. But you can't get it fully incorporated here, so I always just stick the lid on, make sure it's on there good.
Yes.
and that has always worked really well for me. So I'm gonna let this sit for just a few minutes, because if I open them, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of flour poof out at me, and we'll be right back and I'll show you what these look like when we start to cook them up. So my pancake mix is sat for a few minutes. You can kind of tell it's just a very nice basic flour mixture here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually making some this morning for breakfast. So normally our breakfasts are very simple. Fruit, oatmeal, or baked oatmeal, something like that. We don't really do a big breakfast. And you can hear Saturdays is my exception. I do like to make something different and special for Aaron and Isabel, because we use that time to watch old Saturday morning cartoons, things like that. It is just a fun time for us, so we have a good breakfast. So I'm going to do 1.5 cups here. And you can do however much you want to do for your family. If it's only one of you, 1 cup. And that's kind of what our recipe goes by. It's a 1 cup recipe. And now we take hot water, and you want screaming hot water from your taps, hot as you can get it. I found it works best. If you can do cold, you could do milk. You can add an egg if you want to make a waffle mixture. I've done that before, and it's really good. We just typically stick with pancakes. So I have 1.5 cup here. I'm not putting all that in. I'm actually going to add a little bit at a time. So I'm going to pour in around 1 cup of this, just to see and get us started, because I have found if I do too much, my pancake mixture gets too thin. So I like to add just a little bit at a time, just to get it to my consistency that I want. And I can tell you I'm going to need a little bit more. And this is all about how do you like to have pancakes. Actually, that's almost perfect. Just a little bit more water. And that was just 1 cup. So sometimes I need a little bit more, sometimes I don't. It really kind of just depends. And that's all we do to mix it. And now I'm going to let it sit probably about 5 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some butter going in my skillet here. Now here's where I need a little bit of grace and a little understanding. I'm still learning how to cook pancakes in these skillets. Some days they turn out perfect. Other days they do not. So I'm still in my learning phase here. So please be kind if I mess these up, or if they don't look pretty, or if they're ugly. I know. I understand. I know I can make perfect pancakes, but I'm trying to get away from using nonstick. And we've actually thrown all of it but 1 skillet away, and that's because it's my really big skillet, and I don't have like the $200 to replace that one, because those are more expensive when you get with the enamel. So just be kind. But we'll be right back whenever this is set for a few minutes. It's been a few minutes, and as you can tell, my pancake mix has that nice rised lift to it, kind of a little bit bubbly, which is what I want for us. This is how we like to eat them. And I've got my skillet here and some butter. Now I'm just going to take a little ladle spoon. I got these for ghee, and I do use them for ghee, but I can tell you I use them for everything else too. These have been one of the best little things I've ever gotten. And I'm just going to put it in my hot skillet. And I also do lots of little pancakes for the baby. She really likes to be able to be an independent eater, and she seems to not like them when we tear them up. So what I do is I make a bunch of these. We can eat them this size too, and whichever ones look the best and seem to taste the best are the ones that I give to her. And it works out really well for us. And they'll go in this little snack cup with a lid, and she's a very independent eater, so we don't have that struggle in the mornings with food. Now we're just going to wait until this gets bubbly around the edges, as pancakes do. I have found in this skillet, my first batches are never really pretty. They don't, it takes them a few minutes to get bubbly. We'll see. I tried to adjust my butter that I've put in it today, and we'll see how it works. Now it's just kind of waiting for this to go through and cook. I've got my bacon in our Ninja oven. We tried it last week. It was really, really good.
Really good.
It was really good.
I'm the one who likes extremely crispy bacon,
But not burnt.
but not burnt. So it did amazingly well for me.
It did. He really, really liked it. It was a little bit too done for me, which is okay. I can still eat it, but it did really well, and it didn't heat up my house as much. So we're really digging our Ninja. That little thing is really working out well. We've been using it every week until we're starting to get bubbly here. I'm going to wait just a few more minutes before I go to start flipping. They're actually looking really good. You tell how brown they're getting on the edge. And if you make it a little thicker, they'll fluff up a bit more. It just depends on how you personally like to eat pancakes. But like pancake preference is the thing. We like them this way. We like them a little fluffier sometimes. It just depends on our mood. And if I mess up the pancake mix, if I put too much liquid in it, I mean, that's part of it too. Okay, so I'm probably going to try to flip these now. And, yep. Oh, and those are pretty. The little ones are always just a little bit harder. I'm going to need a fork. We'll let them cook just a few seconds on the other side, and you'll see this batter, it'll actually kind of raise the pancakes up just a little bit when you flip them. That always tells me I did a good job on the mix, that everything's working well. But it's so basic, it's so easy, and total cost for that big container, that half full container, $2.55, and we kind of round it up. And that is also pricing out the sugar at an organic cane sugar, a pure 100% organic cane sugar. So if you are one who just uses regular cane sugar, the beet sugar, whatever you use, which is just fine, and it does just as well because that's what we used to use too, you can actually price this out at a much cheaper cost, because you can get a 10-pound bag of that sugar at Rural King sometimes for $5. So your price could be lower with the sugar cost. That was probably our most expensive thing that goes in this is the dried milk. That's the most expensive thing. The flour priced out at 3 cents per serving. It was under $1. The sugar was,
And get your notes.
yep, go get my notes, was right around 25 cents. The baking powder, right around 15 cents. The most expensive thing we had on this list was definitely the milk. These actually turned out just right, so I'm very pleased. And that's it. I'm going to keep making pancakes here, and we're going to have a really good breakfast this morning. And if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to see from us in future episodes or in our podcast as a video, please make sure you email us at thecannycouple@yahoo.com and check out our link tree. You'll see all of our other links to all of our other social media, our other podcasts, the platforms we put that out. We also put it out on YouTube. And as always, thank you for joining us on The Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.